Here are 5 tight ends we dislike at RotoWire, and it's part of the Fantasy Football Draft Season Series sponsored by Circa Resort and Casino, starting out with Sam LaPorta. Everybody loves Sam LaPorta. 2 years ago, the tight end won. Second half of last season, great fantasy production. We saw 13.2 PPR points per game second half of the year, but why are we out on Sam LaPorta? Remember the first part of last season through week 7, Sam LaPorta averaged 2.8 targets and 7 PPR points. Why? The Detroit Lions were playing great defense. They were running the football. And then all the injuries hit. Detroit lost over the course of the rest of the season 18 defenders. The season-ending IR, 3 is a big number. 18, unimaginable. Sam LaPorta benefited from all those defensive injuries because Jared Goff went from 25 passing game well into the 30s. Sam LaPorta was revived. Well, this year, Detroit's defense is most likely going to be much, much healthier. This is a top 6 defense for a good portion of the early season. Those 2 young corners they drafted last year, another year of experience. This defense is coming on. The running game, Jahmyr Gibbs, devastating down the stretch. David Montgomery, back from injury. This team will be about running and defense, not about Sam LaPorta at the tight end 4 cost. Not going to cash that ADP. The next tight end we don't like is Travis Kelce, 35 years old this year. His ADP has gone up over the early summer. Now the tight and 6. And last year, look, it was not a bad year, 823 yards and 3 touchdowns, but it certainly wasn't the days of Travis Kelce that we remember. That was a significant decline. And now at age 35, it certainly isn't getting much better. 16th percentile yards after the catch was showing that decline. But here's the bigger problem. Travis Kelce had to take on a bigger role in the short area of the field after Rashee Rice went down early in the season. Rashee Rice projected to be fully healthy and back. Xavier Worthy fully integrated in the offense. Hollywood Brown, who missed almost the whole season, he was a big part of the plans. There just are not going to be those 133 targets that Travis Kelce had to eat up last year available for him. And with a declining player, that is going to be a real problem. Don't be surprised if Kelce's snap share is significantly reduced as well as they try to keep him fresh for another potential Super Bowl run. Hey, fantasy football fans, why settle for your buddy's basement when you could draft in Las Vegas? Circa Resort and Casino is giving one league the ultimate fantasy football experience, 2-night stay, welcome bash at the Legacy Club, your draft in a private stadium, swim cabana, giant screens, DJ, the whole vibe. I have been there. This is an incredible experience. You get limo service, your own spot at the world's biggest sports book. You got to be 21 or over to enter. Head to circalasvegas.com for all the info. This year, make your draft unforgettable only at Circa. All right, the next tight end we don't like is Evan Engram, now of the Denver Broncos. Evan Engram has always been a really talented player, and 2 years ago, he had a career year in Jacksonville. However, last year, he was injured, so you give him some slack there. Played 9 games, but only 365 yards in those 9 games. That was a really, really down season for him. And again, 31 years old now, might be in stages of decline. The excitement in Denver is that Sean Payton wants to use him in what they call the Joker role, a player they use to create mismatches. Sean Payton did this with Reggie Bush, Darren Sproles, and Taysom Hill very recently. But Evan Ingram's going to run into a problem, and that problem is this. 9th percentile yards after the catch last year. That was a problem for a really athletic player. The other problem he's going to have is Denver is probably not going to be slinging the ball all over the field. Last year, they had no running game. Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime. This year, R.J. Harvey, 2nd-round pick. J.K. Dobbins, free agent signing. Great offensive line. The defense added big, significant components to an already good unit. This team is very likely going to pass at a very, very moderate level. Cortland Sutton's going to get targets. Marvin Mims going to get targets. There just won't be enough to go around for Evan Engram to be a factor, drafted around the tight end 7. All right, next, we don't like Dalton Kincaid of the Buffalo Bills. The problem is with Dalton Kincaid is that he just was not a useful receiver last year. Never had more than 53 yards in a game last year. Dropped passes frequently, ninth percentile catch rate. It was just a very difficult season. In terms of fantasy scoring, Dalton Kincaid had double-digit PPR points 3 times all season. His best game, 13.1. 448 yards and 2 touchdowns on the season after being promising as a rookie. This looks like it's going backwards. Now, Kincaid had an injury, and he missed some time later in the season. And when he came back, we saw his snaps go way down. Dalton Kincaid played 41% of the snaps in the final 3 games, while Dawson Knox was close to 60%. Now, maybe that was because of Kincaid's return from injury, but he was not an effective receiver, and it may have just been as easy as the fact that he's not playing well. Why do we want him on the field? They have a lot of different receivers in Buffalo. To me, it does not appear that Dalton Kincaid is going to be a heavily utilized receiver. We also know this team likes to run the ball quite a bit since they brought Joe Brady in as their offensive coach later in the 2023 season. And Josh Allen's pass attempts are down about 100 per year since then. This is all not stacking up for Dawson Kincaid to have a very, very strong fantasy football season. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to enter Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football Draft giveaway. You go to circalasvegas.com to sign up and for all the details.